Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and welcome to arguably my greatest game of all time. It's been a while since I claimed that. I'm feeling that the game that you're going to see today is better than the Faden's medal I got 6 years ago in the Skoda T50, and I definitely recommend checking that video out as well if you want to see what kind of a standard that we were up to here. One of the reasons why I absolutely loved this game that I played this month in World of Tanks is because, firstly, I'm playing on my Plays for Free account, so it's not even my main account. Secondly, I don't even have all the field mods on the tank that I'm playing. Thirdly, I'm only using regular equipment, and I'm not even using a premium consumable as well. So the fact that I'm going to be able to achieve what I do here in the Concept 5 without having all of those advantages just makes this one, oof, chef's kiss, extra special inside World of Tanks. Alright, so I'm using Vents, Vision System, and Exhaust. As you can see, I don't even have the Vision System improved because I don't have the field mod to be able to get that extra scouting slot. I feel that this is the best build for at least 60 to maybe 65% of maps for a medium tank. It will give me enough view range with the Vents, and it will give me enough ability to be able to penetrate the bushes with the Vision System, and the Exhaust takes a vehicle, the Concept 5, which is arguably the worst tier 10 medium in the game, and makes it sneaky enough to actually put itself in tricky situations. The Concept 5 is not a tank that I feel scales very well with a gun rammer. I do have a gun rammer build on this tank for when you really need that DPM and it's just about getting shells at your opponents. But for a situation like this, it's more about delivering those rounds consistently by staying hidden for those opportune moments. And what you're going to see later on with the Vision System, yeah, you're going to see why it's the best piece of equipment for a medium tank for these bushy maps. Alright then, so I decide, well, the Bat Chat dies. I know where that Concept was, and we shut down Machine Gunman on the enemy team, who is also playing a Concept. When I'm playing on this map, it's all about just trying to be as aggressive as I can along this flank, and it's kind of like the two snipers battling off against each other, right? Leopard versus Concept, which is the better tank? Yeah, it's definitely the Leopard. It's not the Concept, even though we're going to have a great game today in this British wheeled vehicle. I seriously think that it could have been an awful game if that FE405 shell had hit me, let me tell you. I really think that Wargaming should just buff the alpha damage of this vehicle. Apparently the game is so good that I'm about to choke on it. I think that Wargaming should just buff the alpha damage of this vehicle and make the rate of fire worse. Keep the damage per minute roughly about the same, but just give it more alpha. Maybe even like 480 to match up the Felice, to make it just an alpha damage medium, rather than it being currently just a worse version of the Leopard. So here we can just see that the Vision System is allowing us to see those sneaky French tanks. And if we didn't cross there aggressively to be able to get rid of the two Bat Chats and to be able to get rid of that FE405, the game would be done, right? Even with 6,600 combined in the first 3 minutes of this game, my team is still down by 6,000 hit points and down by 4 kills. And that is where you know, wow, this just could be the game of games, right? Luckily, the Vision System once again helps us to be able to spot the Bat Chat, get him out, and I love this position. I've used this position to get a really big game in a Hurricane. I don't think it was quite an ace, but it was a first class, which in a Hurricane is still a tough thing to be able to do. I think one of the first platoons that I played with Enves. This position is lovely if the opponents have taken the north and you still have people towards the southeast. You can use this position to really level the playing field. I've still got to take risks, go after the Tessac, but interestingly, my Sixth Sense doesn't even go off, so beautiful. I can either try and keep going after the Tessac, or I can try and spot the T123 in the center. And this is where just the concept's lovely. When it doesn't need to use its damage per minute, and when it's kind of more about shooting and then hiding while you're maybe re-stealthing, that is where the concept is just absolute god tier. We're going to go for this Minotauro, hit him right in the top, through a wall, run away from that T123, and the enemy team thinks that they've won, right? They got 3 kills ahead. They got double our hit points. This is where everybody's thinking, mine, 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 mine. I'm going to go in and try and farm up as much as I can. Whereas Uncle QuickyBaby is thinking, okay, just try and keep swimming. Just try and keep my head above the water on this free-to-play tank without all of the advantages that I would usually have on my main account. Luckily, the 121B shuts down the T123, and I can't quite manage to get this T125 who's below me. The Leopard shoots down. E5 now behind a building, and oh dear, E50M has me here. I'm just hoping for some shots. I get one in there, I'm still loading AP rounds, which is a little bit sketch. The E50M hits me. He's coming down. I have to try and make the shot count. I'm hoping that the Leopard, hoping that the 121B is going to help me. And I make a little bit of a misplay here. And that is that I decide that I really want to get that shot in. And it actually ends up costing me 600 damage from him ramming me. But I thought, just to pause, that if he gets out the render distance of those two tanks by getting around the corner, and I'm nearly out the render distance of those two tanks, I'm dead anyway. So I decided to try and make my stand to hold on to the E50M. Unfortunately, that ram cost me so many of my hit points, and I probably just didn't figure out that the concept's reload would be that long, as I am playing on my free-to-play account without a gun rammer. Nevertheless, up to 11,000 combined here, boys and girls. It is not enough to just deal usually a great game's worth of damage. We've had to have a great game's worth of light tank spotting so far, and we are not done yet. There's still 5,900 hit points on the enemy team, so there's an opportunity to get that number up a significant amount higher. So we're going to spot the 50B. I really expected to get spotted, but I actually don't. Exhaust maybe paying off here, and that allows me to get the clean shot into the 50B. And that is just why vision system exhaust on a map like this allows you to actually be cheeky enough to be able to engage other vehicles. And a tank like this, unless it can be sneaky, there's just nothing really going for it. And so a build like this takes a tank which would be bad in most situations and allows it to still be good in quite a few situations. It's how I used to play the K91 before it was mega buffed. Now I'll probably go for gun rammer and vents, hopefully bond on the K91 to really max out that DPM. His DPM was never bad, don't get me wrong, but without the fully turreted tank, it was never really in the same position. So unfortunately for us, the AMX 50B finishes off the Leopard, and now we find ourselves in a 2 versus 4 scenario. We're now up to, yeah, it's hard to count, nearly 14,000 combined in this battle. 2 kills, 5,600 damage to my name with 8,000 spotting. And we're going to hopefully try and just keep our opponents lit up here more for the 121B. Okay, so I don't think I'm getting that E5. I don't think he's going to advance at the 121B. Right now I was thinking, you know, there's a brown vehicle on the enemy team, and they might make me brown for a different kind of reason in a different kind of area, if you know what I mean, if they decide to fire a shell at me. So we're instead going to hunt the pig. Again, the exhaust hopefully keeps us hidden. Now we're going to load an HE shell and shoot right at that gun where it doesn't have any protection from this angle. And then we're going to load an AP shell afterwards. I guess I could have just fired 2 AP shells in this scenario, but who knows? Maybe the HE shell would have mega rolled. Would that even be possible? It just kind of makes sense to fire HE at artillery, but in retrospect, I think 2 AP shells would have probably been just as good. All right, so we're done firing the regular rounds. We are loading the gold here. The game is tight enough. And as I'm engaging against possibly an FV215B183, the gold rounds will really help, unless I do have the side of that tank. So it looks like the T110E5 has decided that he's going to push the 121B, and so I mark the map to let the 121B know that I'm going to go and assist them. The game is only half done yet. There's 7 minutes left on this battle, but FV215B183 coming after us. The 121B actually hits the 50B, and wow, okay, we got time. The FV215B183 misses up his shell. I actually low roll there, now meaning that I'm going to need to not low roll this next shot, or I'm going to be in a world of hurt. I'm trying to get away from the T110E5 as well, and we get one right through the upper hull of the FV215B183, and now up to 15,000 combined. 7,000 damage and 8,000 spotting in a free-to-play concept. Fortunately, the E5 finishes off the 121B. We find ourselves in a 1 versus 1. Now, he's outside my render distance, so his hit points won't update. We don't know if he's at 1,198. I try and ask my team, what is his HP? Fortunately, no one says anything, so I don't know whether he's a 3-shot, I don't know whether he's a 2-shot or a 1-shot in this kind of a scenario. And that 3-shot is if I don't low roll my shells. Now this tank does have 430 alpha damage, but I don't believe that I had all of the extra crew skills with only having like a 3-skill crew on most. I think my commander was a lot more skilled on this vehicle, but for the other 2 members, yeah, a little bit of a struggle. And I don't have things like shell tuning. Shell tuning, a wonderful skill, increases your average alpha damage by 1% by effectively removing all of the low rolls from your shells. So with that, I'd probably be packing more like 435. It makes a big difference in your percentage chances when you're trying to calculate whether you're going to be able to have a chance to trade effectively. And in a game like this, it's all about your margins. Working out your percentages, figuring out what you're going to have to do to try and give yourself the best possible scenario. So I think about making my way up, but if I do that, then the E5 is probably going to spot me. So instead, I decide to take a slightly longer detour down here to go up, to crest the ridge, to get into the bush, to see if we can be able to find out where that T110 E5 is. Now, again, in this kind of a scenario, the vision system exhaust is just absolutely incredible. It will change this tank's class from being a terrible medium with regards to its camo capacity to possibly being able to stay hidden even if we go through the bushes, even if the E5 is got a good crew with all the field mods to increase their view range, maybe a premium consumable. They can be packing 480 meters view range if they're using vents, even without using coated optics. And here we go. E5 spotted. Pull back behind the bush, shoot through the bush. A little bit concerned. I'm going to fall back. I want to keep a little bit of an eye on him, but I also want to fall back in this scenario. That player is obviously not stupid. They know where they got shot from. They aimed right at me, and I'm a little bit petrified that the guy's going to either start to try and blind fire these bushes or alternatively just come at me. So I have a little bit of a hesitate here. I was thinking, my heart was going. It was going very quickly. It's on this side of my chest, but you know what I mean. Hopefully the camera will be mirrored, right, so you don't get to see that. But I was thinking, shall I go up? Shall I go in and try and hunt that guy? But I thought, look, he's still a two-shot. Luckily, I just little low rolled, but it wasn't a mega low roll there. Unless I really low roll the next two shells, we should be able to take him out in two shots. So in this kind of a scenario, it's all about using the minimap by using the rings. I know that he probably won't see me until about 400 meters as I'm using the exhaust. So imagine that there's a ring inside the maximum spotting distance of 445 that goes about here, and if I can try and get him into the area of those between those two rings that you see me circling on the minimap, this kind of an area, that's where I will see him and he won't see me. And if I can see him and he can't see me, that is how I can make an outplay even when I've been a one-shot for since the E50M? When was the E50M? The E50M was before the Jaegeru. It was before the 50B. I think we have actually shut down 4 tanks since we were a one-shot in World of Tanks here. And here we go. Ladies and gents, that E5 is going to start to have a little bit of concern. In this kind of situation, I want him to just feel the pressure. I want to see what he wants to do. I've got 3 minutes left. There's no need for me to be able to fire in this situation. I will wait until he's just about to go around the corner before I fire, because now he has no opportunity to turn around and get a clutch shot on me. So now he's thinking, man, this guy's relocating. I relocated all the way to the other side. I relocated to this side. I'm going to wait for hopefully him to not be able to see me anymore, and then I'm going to go into the bush. I'm thinking, I feel confident. Shut down. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a GG from the 121B and a GG to you, sir, for helping the team to be able to get through this. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you, bro. Oh my god, my heart. 16,000 combined, 8,000 spotting, 8,000 damage. That we saw in a concept, arguably the worst tier 10 medium in the game, with not really many field mods, with no premium consumable, with not even having the best of crews on my free-to-play account. This was playing World of Tanks with a handicap, but still managing to come out with one of my best results in tier 10 of all time. And considering this was on the free-to-play account with no paid advantages, I feel that, for me, this is my greatest game of all time. So this is the most experience that anyone's ever uploaded on the What Record website. However, just before What Replays went down, possibly for good, I noticed this was the second highest experience game of all time in a Concept 5 by just a few XP. We did a little bit of hidden damage, so this was actually 16,400 combined, which gave us a high caliber and a patrol duty for enough spotting to make a light tank blush, and we get a Confederate medal as well as 5 kills, where you know you've had a good game in supporting your allies. And to cap it all off, we even made 71,000 credits profit free to play. Not bad. And so whenever anyone asks me, Uncle QuickyBaby, why do you still play this game after 14 years? It's this. It's games like this. World of Tanks has a way of making us feel more than pretty much any other video game that I've played. Sometimes it's making me feel as if the whole world is ending and that I hate everything, but quite often it piques that adrenaline more than any other game I've played. And still, after 14 years, to try to be hunting those holy grail, those white whale kind of games, and to be achieving these kind of results on free-to-play account where I specifically give myself disadvantages, just makes it oh so rewarding. So, I'd like to give a big thank you to all of you who have been with me on this amazing World of Tanks journey. I still play for the same reasons that I did when I first started in 2010, although the feelings have matured a little bit in certain ways. But anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was arguably my greatest game of all time. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments whether you thought this one or the Skoda T50 Fadens medal was better. And if you're watching this video as it's released, on Sunday, there's going to be a brand new token store where you can get a tier 7 premium tank for free just for watching my Twitch stream. So come along on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby and start collecting your 65 Christmas tokens so that you can either pick the Krups der Waffenträger, the IS-2M, or alternatively the VK4503 completely for free. So really looking forward to seeing all of you right now. Come and tell me what tank gave you your favorite game of all time. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.